I should have seen it coming. Sitting on my porch that morning, coffee steaming in the mug Clara gave me 30 years back, watching Patricia tend the roses my first wife planted, I told myself this second marriage was working out just fine. The house didn't echo anymore. Breakfast smelled like something other than burnt toast and regret. Sure, Patricia never asked about Clara's photo on the mantel, but maybe that was respect, not indifference. I was wrong about a lot of things that spring. The birthday party started normal enough. My grandson Tyler turning 12, the whole family gathering in Marcus's backyard. Burgers on the grill, kids running wild, that good kind of chaos that makes you remember what matters. Then Patricia's daughter Sarah opened her mouth, and everything I'd built over 71 years started crumbling like wet cardboard. Grandpa, you already told that story 3 times today. The yard went quiet. I'd been telling Tyler about Korea. The kid asks every time, wants to hear about the medic who saved my platoon, the winter so cold your eyelashes froze shut, all of it. I remember every detail. Hell, I remember what I had for breakfast 40 years ago, if you ask me, right? Sarah stood there with a wine glass in one hand, phone in the other, looking at me like I'd pissed myself at the dinner table. Are you okay, Grandpa? Her voice dripped with concern the way oil drips off a spoon, thick, fake, coating everything. Sometimes old people repeat themselves. It's normal. Tyler's face scrunched up. But I asked him to tell it again, the part about, "Sweetie, Grandpa's getting older." Sarah touched Tyler's shoulder, protective, like she was shielding him from something dangerous. Sometimes their minds get confused, mix up what's real with what they saw in movies. My son Marcus froze at the grill, spatula halfway to a burger. His knuckles went white. Patricia sat 3 feet from me, said nothing, just patted my hand, pat, 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 like you'd calm a dog that won't stop barking. "It's okay, honey," she murmured. "We understand." The "we" hit me harder than the accusation. We, like she and Sarah were a team, and I was the problem they were managing together. My daughter-in-law found something fascinating in her potato salad. Tyler looked between me and Sarah, confusion turning to worry on his 12-year-old face. The other guests, Patricia's sister, some neighbors, people I barely knew, they had that look, that careful, pitying look you give someone whose mind is going. I opened my mouth, closed it. What do you say? I'm not senile. That's exactly what a senile man would claim. Marcus broke the silence. "Burgers are ready?" His voice came out flat, hard. The party limped along after that. People ate, made small talk, pretended nothing had happened, but everything had changed. I caught the glances, the whispers. Sarah holding court by the potato salad, shaking her head sadly. Patricia's sympathetic smiles to the other women. I left early, told Marcus I was tired. "Dad," he started, but I was already heading to my truck. Patricia followed, climbed in without asking if I wanted company. The whole drive home, she stared out the window, didn't say a word about what happened. That evening, she made pot roast, my favorite. Clara's recipe, though I'd never given it to Patricia, which meant she'd gone through Clara's recipe box without asking. The kitchen filled with smells that belonged to another life. Rosemary, red wine, onions caramelizing. She set the table nice, candles, the good plates. Put on the Hank Williams record I used to play with Clara. "I'm sorry about Sarah," she said, settling across from me. "She's under so much stress with the divorce, doesn't think before she speaks." I cut into the pot roast. Tasted exactly like Clara's. That should have felt good. Instead, felt like grave robbing. She called me senile in front of my family. "She didn't mean it that way, honey." Patricia reached across, squeezed my hand. "You know how young people are. Everything's so dramatic with them." "You didn't say anything." Her eyes flickered. Just for a second, something cold passed through them, then gone, replaced by warmth. "I didn't want to make a scene, make it worse. Worse than watching everyone think I've lost my mind?" "Oh, Hal." She stood, came around the table, wrapped her arms around my shoulders from behind. "Nobody thinks that. You're sharp as ever. Maybe you do tell that Korea story a lot, but it's endearing. We love hearing it." We again. I tell it because Tyler asks. Every single time, he asks. I know, sweetheart, I know. She kissed the top of my head. Let's just forget about it, okay? Sarah will apologize next time we see her. She wouldn't. I knew it then. But I wanted to believe Patricia. Wanted to believe this marriage, 6 months old, still shiny and new, was real. That I hadn't just traded 4 years of honest loneliness for something worse. After dinner, we sat on the couch. She leaned against me, soft and warm. I tried to relax into it. This was what I'd wanted, wasn't it? Someone to sit with. Someone to make the house feel less empty. But it felt empty anyway. Fuller than before. Somehow emptier. Through the window, I could see Vernon's porch light on next door. He sat in his rocker, barely visible in the dusk, smoking his evening cigarette, watching. When he caught me looking, he shook his head. Slow, deliberate. I turned away quick. Patricia's breathing evened out, asleep or pretending. I stared at Clara's photo on the mantel. Our wedding day, both of us young and stupid and happy. Patricia never asked about that photo. Not once in 6 months. Never asked about Clara at all. Maybe that should have told me something. I turned off the lamp. Sat in the dark with my sleeping wife and my dead wife's picture and Vernon's judgment bleeding through the window. That's when I heard it. Sarah's car in the driveway, door slamming, her voice muffled but clear enough. Easier than I thought. Someone laughed. Male voice, young. Patricia stirred beside me but didn't wake, or didn't want me to know she was awake. I sat there in the dark, listening to my stepdaughter and some man I didn't know, talking outside my house at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. That was the moment. Right there. I knew something was wrong. I just didn't know how wrong yet. Sarah moved in 2 weeks later. Just temporary, Patricia said, standing in the doorway while her daughter hauled boxes past us. Apartment flooded. Pipe burst. She needs a place while they fix it. I watched a moving truck back into my driveway. The driveway I paved myself in '82 after saving up 6 months of postal service paychecks. How long's temporary? Patricia's smile tightened. 2 weeks, maybe 3. You don't mind, do you? She's family now. Family. 6 months married, and her 34-year-old daughter was family. My son, who I raised from diapers, got uninvited from Sunday dinner, but Sarah was family. Guest room's hers, I said, because what else could I say? No, your daughter can't stay in the house I own. I wasn't that guy. Wasn't cruel. Should have been. Sarah took over the guest room first, then the dining table, laptop, chargers, papers spread everywhere, then the kitchen schedule. By day 3, she was making coffee at 6 a.m., using my personal mug, leaving grounds in the sink. Morning, Grandpa. She'd say it cheerful, mocking. Never just Hal. Always Grandpa. Like I was some doddering fool who needed reminding of his place. Her boyfriend showed up on day 4, Craig, late 20s, gym rat build, paralegal at some firm downtown. Shook my hand too hard, eyes already calculating. Wow, this is a great property. He stood in my living room like he was appraising it. What, 2 acres? You ever get it assessed? No? You should. Market's hot right now. Place like this, original owner, maintained. He whistled. You're sitting on a gold mine. Sarah appeared with coffee. Craig, stop. You're making Grandpa uncomfortable. I wasn't uncomfortable. I was pissed. But she said it like I was fragile, like my feelings needed protection from reality. Just saying. Craig grinned, all teeth. You ever think about downsizing, Hal? I know people. Estate planning, that kind of thing. I'm 71, not dying. Oh, of course not. Patricia materialized, touched Craig's arm. He's just trying to be helpful, honey. Young people think about these things differently. Young people. Like I was ancient. Like I didn't have a sharp enough mind to know when someone was sizing up my property for scrap. That night, I heard them through the heating vent. My bedroom shared a wall with the guest room, and the old ductwork carried sound like a telephone line. Sarah's voice low. Thinks I'm staying 2 weeks. Craig laughed. And? And nothing. Mom's handling it. He's easy. Just smile and call him honey. Silence. Then Patricia's voice. and my stomach dropped because she was in there with them, in Sarah's room, at 11 p.m., planning. Checkbooks in the garage. Never locks it. I lay there in the dark, Clara's side of the bed cold and empty, listening to my wife discuss my checkbook location with her daughter and some stranger. Next morning, I looked for the checkbook. Kept it in the garage, old habit from postal service days. Bank on the way home, stop and make deposits. Searched everywhere. Toolbox, workbench, truck glove compartment, gone. I was tearing through the cabinets when Patricia found me. "What are you looking for, sweetheart?" "Checkbook." "It's missing." Her face did this thing, concern mixed with something else. "Missing? Are you sure you didn't move it?" "I keep it in the same place for 40 years. It doesn't move." "Well, when you get older," she caught herself. "I mean, sometimes we all misplace things. I'll help you look." 20 minutes later, she found it. In the garage. On a shelf I'd already checked 3 times. "Right here, honey. See? Right where you probably left it." The probably hung there like an accusation. I looked there. Sometimes we look right past things. She handed it to me, patted my shoulder. "Nothing to worry about. You're just stressed. Sarah moving in, all the changes. It's a lot." I checked the register. 3 withdrawals I didn't make. 200, 350, 500. All marked cash. All in handwriting that looked like mine but wasn't quite. "Patricia." "Oh, those are mine." She didn't even look at the register. Didn't need to. Already knew what I was seeing. "I borrowed some cash for groceries, household things. Didn't want to bother you. That's over $1,000 in groceries. And other things. Sarah needed help with her security deposit for when the apartment's ready. You didn't ask. I'm your wife, Hal." Her voice cooled 10 degrees. "Do I need to ask permission to buy groceries?" I wanted to say yes. Wanted to say that's not groceries. That's $1,000. That's forging my signature. But the way she looked at me, like I was being unreasonable, controlling, one of those old men who counts pennies and trusts nobody. "No," I said, "but next time mention it." "Of course." She smiled. Back to warm. I should have said something. "I'm sorry. Still getting used to sharing finances." She kissed my cheek and left me standing there, holding a checkbook that had vanished and reappeared like a magic trick, filled with my money turned into Sarah's security deposit. That afternoon, contractors showed up, started measuring windows. "Who called you?" I asked the foreman. He checked his clipboard. "Mrs. Morrison. Said you wanted estimates for updates." Mrs. Morrison. Could be either one, Patricia or Sarah, who'd started using my last name even though she never married into it. "What kind of updates?" "Kitchen remodel. New cabinets, countertops, window replacement." Clara's kitchen. The one she designed on graph paper at our dining table, adjusting the window placement 3 times to catch morning light just right. The cabinets I built myself, cutting each piece in the garage, Clara standing behind me saying a little more to the left. "There. Perfect." "I didn't authorize this." The foreman shrugged. "Take it up with your wife, sir. We're just giving estimates." "Sir." Like I was some confused old man who'd forgotten his own renovation plans. I found the estimate 3 days later. Left on the kitchen counter, casual as a grocery list. $47,000. Remove outdated custom cabinetry. Modernize layout. Improve resale value. Resale value. They were planning to sell my house. The house Clara and I built. Sell it like scrapwood and outdated fixtures. I sat at that kitchen table, Clara's table, the one we picked out together at an estate sale in '79, and stared at plans to erase her from existence. Sarah walked in, saw the papers. "Oh, good, you found them." Cheerful. "Easy. What do you think? I love the farmhouse sink idea. Very trendy." "I'm not remodeling." "Well, not you personally. We'd hire people. You couldn't handle that kind of work anymore." Couldn't, not shouldn't. Couldn't. Like I was incapable. "This is Clara's kitchen." Sarah's smile flickered. "Clara's been gone 4 years, Grandpa. At some point, it's just a kitchen. Just a kitchen. Get out." "Excuse me?" "Out of this room. Now." She left, but she laughed doing it, loud enough for me to hear. That night, Patricia slept in Sarah's room. Claimed the mattress in our bedroom was too firm for her back. Said it so casual, like it was nothing, like we hadn't shared that bed for 6 months, like moving out wasn't abandonment. I heard them through the vent again, whispering, laughing. Marcus called during lunch the next day. I let it ring. Didn't trust my voice. He called again, again. Patricia answered the fourth time. I listened from the garage. Oh, he's resting. No, I think Sunday dinner might be too much for him right now. The doctor said he needs less stimulation. I know you're concerned, Marcus, but we've got it handled. Yes, of course I'll tell him you called. She hung up. Never told me. I found his voicemail later that night, his voice tight with worry. Dad, call me back, please. I don't care what Patricia says, just call me. I tried. Got a message. This number is not accepting calls at this time. Blocked. My own son's number, blocked on my own phone. I sat on the porch that evening, watching Vernon water his flowers. He'd been watering a lot lately, every evening, always right along the property line where he could see my house. He looked over, held my eyes for a long moment, then went inside, came back out with something, walked across his yard, crossed into mine. First time he'd done that in 6 months. Handed me a business card, probate attorney, friend of his, apparently. Just in case, Vernon said, quiet, careful. Sometimes it helps to know your options. I'm fine. How? He looked at me the way Marcus used to when I was being stubborn. You're not fine, and that's okay. But when you're ready to admit it, call this number. He went back to his porch, left me holding a business card I didn't think I needed. Inside, I heard Sarah on the phone, her voice carrying through the screen door, careless and loud. Old fool doesn't suspect a thing. I sat very still. Mom's got him right where we need him. Very, very still. Another month, we can start on the power of attorney paperwork. The porch boards creaked under my weight. Old wood, solid wood. Wood I replaced in '95 after the termite scare. My house, my porch, my wood. Not for much longer, apparently. Sunday mornings used to mean Marcus and his family. Tyler climbing onto the porch before I had my second coffee, asking about the truck or Korea or whether catfish bite better in spring or summer. My daughter driving up from Florida twice a year, filling the house with her kids' noise. Sunday dinners rotating, my place, Marcus's place, sometimes just burgers on somebody's grill. That first Sunday after Sarah moved in, I set the table for 8. Old habit. Patricia watched me from the doorway. Honey, what are you doing? Marcus and his crew should be here around noon. Oh. She came over, started collecting the extra plates. I meant to tell you. I called them yesterday, told them we're taking a break from big gatherings. You need rest. I need what? The doctor said. What doctor? Her smile never wavered. Dr. Chen. At my clinic. She suggested limiting stimulation, all the noise and chaos. It's exhausting for you. I never saw Dr. Chen. You saw her 3 weeks ago, sweetheart, for your checkup. Remember? I didn't, because it never happened. But the way she said it, so sure, so gentle, so concerned, made me doubt my own memory. I want my son here for Sunday dinner. And he'll come. Just not every week. We need to pace things. She put the plates away, humming, erasing my family from the table like they'd never existed. It's for your own good. My own good. That phrase was becoming her favorite weapon. Marcus called that afternoon. I grabbed the phone before Patricia could. Dad, come over, please. Patricia said you needed rest. That the doctor, there's no doctor. I didn't see any doctor. Come over. Silence on his end. Long enough that I knew. He was deciding whether to believe me or his stepmother. 45 years of being my son weighed against 6 months of her concerned voice. Dad, if you're feeling confused, I'm not confused, goddammit. I'm being lied to. About doctors, about needing rest, about... Patricia appeared in the doorway. Didn't say anything, just stood there listening. I lowered my voice. Can you just come over? We need to talk. Not today, maybe next week. I think Patricia's right. You sound stressed. Rest up, okay? I'll check on you later. He hung up. I stood there holding a dead phone, my wife watching me like I was a child who'd tried to sneak cookies before dinner. "Feel better?" she asked. I didn't answer. Went to the garage. Sat in Clara's truck, the '72 Chevy she gave me for our 25th anniversary, rebuilt engine, original paint. Gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. The next Sunday, same thing. Table set for two. Just me and Patricia. Sarah sleeping until noon. Craig showing up for lunch like he paid rent. Third Sunday, I didn't bother with the extra plates. Church was worse. 40 years at First Methodist. Married Clara there in '74. Baptized both my kids. Built half the pews in the fellowship hall during the renovation in '88. Edna Krebs typed my name in the bulletin every week for 4 decades. Harold Morrison, usher. First Sunday with Patricia, she went through all the motions. Smiled at everyone, shook hands, stayed for coffee hour. But I noticed things. The way she'd stiffen when people asked about Clara. How she'd steer conversations away from my history, toward her present. Small comments, loud enough for others to hear. He gets so tired these days. I practically have to drag him out of the house. Yes, well, at his age, you have to expect some slowing down. At his age, like I was ancient, like I needed a handler. Second Sunday, during coffee hour, I was telling Frank Peterson about the new alternator I'd installed in the truck. Halfway through, Patricia touched my arm. "Honey, you told Frank that story last week." I hadn't. Frank's face told me I hadn't. But 3 other women heard Patricia say it, saw her patient smile, her gentle correction of the senile old husband. Fourth Sunday, I overheard her in the ladies' room. The door didn't close right. I'd been meaning to fix that hinge for a year. Edna Krebs was in there. "How are you managing?" Edna's voice, careful. "Oh, some days are harder than others." Patricia, sighing. "He's such a proud man. Doesn't want to admit he's struggling." "Struggling how?" "Memory, mostly. Repeating himself. Forgetting conversations. I'm trying to get him to see a specialist, but he gets so defensive." I stood in that hallway, my hallway, in my church that I'd helped build, listening to my wife plant the narrative that I was losing my mind. Edna didn't buy it. I could tell by her response. "Hal seems sharp as ever to me." "Well, you see him an hour a week. I live with him." Patricia's voice cooled. "It's different when you're there for the daily decline." Daily decline. Like I was rotting fruit. I walked away before I heard more. Sat through the service grinding my teeth. Pastor Frank's sermon was on truth. Bearing false witness, the commandment against lying. He caught my eye once. Held it. Like he knew. After church, Patricia begged off coffee hour. "Hal's tired." I wasn't tired, but she had my elbow, steering me toward the parking lot, and making a scene in front of the congregation wasn't something I knew how to do. On the drive home, "You really shouldn't tell the same stories over and over, honey. People notice." I told Frank about the alternator once. Today, first time. "If you say so." Like she was humoring me. That week, the town started treating me different. Hardware store. Pete Johnson, who'd sold me supplies for 40 years, started explaining things slowly. "This is a Phillips head screwdriver, Hal. You twist it like this." "I know what a goddamn Phillips head is, Pete." Sure. Just making sure. Your daughter said you might need some help with." "My daughter lives in Florida." "Your stepdaughter, Sarah. She called about contractor access to your account. Said you're doing some updating but might forget you authorized it." "Contractor access. To my account, without my knowledge." "I didn't authorize anything." Pete's face did that thing, pitying, careful. "Okay, Hal, whatever you say. But maybe check with Sarah. She seemed pretty clear on the phone." I paid cash. Left without the screwdriver, bank next. Tried to check my balance. Teller, young girl, new, didn't know me, pulled up my account and frowned. "Sir, are you Harold Morrison?" "Yes." "There's a note here. Any transactions need to be verified with Mrs. Morrison." "Which Mrs. Morrison?" She looked confused. "Your wife?" "I have 2 women in my house using that name." "Which one left the note?" "I don't know, sir. It just says—" "Never mind." I walked out. Tried calling Marcus from a payphone outside the post office. Blocked. Tried my daughter. Same thing. Went to Vernon's that evening. Didn't even pretend I was just visiting. Walked straight across the lawn, up his porch steps. They're blocking my kids' numbers. Vernon nodded, like he already knew. Saw the bank thing too. Pete's wife mentioned it at the store. Whole town thinks I'm senile. Not the whole town. He gestured at his other porch chair. Sit. I sat. He handed me a beer. We drank in silence, watching the sun drop behind the tree line. How'd it start? Vernon asked. For you, when they took Dottie's house? He'd never told me the full story. Never wanted to talk about it. Now he did. Nephew moved in. Temporary, they said. Dottie was already sick. Lung cancer. He offered to help with her care. Seemed kind. Vernon's voice went flat. 6 months later, I'm signing papers I don't understand. Power of attorney? Trust modifications? He said it was for taxes. For protecting her assets. And? And the day after her funeral, he informed me the house was in his name. Had been for 4 months. I'd signed it over and didn't even know. Jesus, Vernon. I was tired, Hal. Tired from watching her die. Tired from fighting with doctors and insurance. When he put papers in front of me, I signed. Trusted family. He looked at me. You're not tired yet. That's good. Means you can still fight. I don't know how. That attorney I gave you? Call him tomorrow. Get your will secured, your accounts protected, your power of attorney locked down before they forge one. It won't come to that. It already has. They've isolated you from your kids. Convinced the town you're failing. Next step is legal control. After that, you're just a signature on documents you'll never see. I thought about the checkbook, the contractors, the blocked phones, the whispers at church. I married her, I said. Quiet. 6 months ago, I thought I was getting companionship. Someone to eat breakfast with. How'd it turn into this? Vernon finished his beer. You had something they wanted. House, land, money. They saw an opportunity. Lonely widower, recent marriage, isolated from family. Perfect mark. I'm not a mark. I'm a person. To them, you're both. Inside my house, lights were on. Sarah's laugh carried across the yard. Music playing. Not my music. Some pop song with bass that rattled the windows. My house. Didn't feel like mine anymore. Vernon stood, went inside his place, came back with a manila folder. Thin, not much in it yet. I've been taking notes, photos, documenting. Why? Because someone should. Because I failed Dottie, and I won't fail you. He handed me the folder. Dates, times, visitors. That boyfriend of Sarah's comes by 3 times a week when you're not home. Always with a briefcase. Always stays an hour. I opened the folder. Saw photos. Craig's car in my driveway, time-stamped. Sarah with a real estate agent pointing at my house. Patricia at the bank, coming out with paperwork. You've been watching. Someone had to. Vernon's jaw tightened. I know what this looks like. Seen it before. They're moving pieces into place, Hal. Question is, what are you going to do about it? I looked at the folder. At my house. At 40 years of life being picked apart by people who'd known me 6 months. I don't know yet. Figure it out fast. Because they already know what they're doing. I took the folder home. Hid it in the truck's glove box under the registration Clara had signed in '72. Her handwriting still visible. Ink faded but readable. That night, Patricia stayed in Sarah's room again. Said her back hurt. Said the bed was too firm. Said a lot of things that used to sound like reasons and now sounded like excuses. I lay in our bed, my bed now, apparently, and stared at the ceiling. Heard them through the vent. Checkbook again tomorrow. Attorney said the paperwork's almost ready. Just needs one more signature. One more signature. I got up. 3 in the morning. Went to the garage. Sat in Clara's truck with the dome light on. Vernon's folder open on my lap. They were planning something. Something that needed my signature. Something legal. Something final. I started the engine. Felt it rumble to life. Strong and sure. 43 years old, this truck, and still running because I maintained it. Changed the oil, replaced the parts, kept it alive. They wanted me to sell it. Said I didn't drive it anymore. Said it was just taking up space, but I was driving it now. At 3 in the morning, sitting in my garage, going nowhere, I was driving it. And that felt like the first decision I'd made in weeks that was entirely mine. The signature they needed came 3 days later. I found the document on the kitchen table, just sitting there, casual as a grocery list, next to my morning coffee. Amendment to last will and testament. My hands shook, picking it up. Dated 2 weeks after I married Patricia. Cutting out Marcus and my daughter entirely. Everything. House, land, truck, savings. Going to my beloved wife, Patricia Morrison, and her dependents. Her dependents, meaning Sarah, meaning Craig, probably. My signature at the bottom looked perfect. Every loop, every slant. Either I'd signed it and couldn't remember, or someone had practiced until they got it right. I stood there, coffee going cold, staring at my own name. Oh good, you found it. Patricia, behind me. I hadn't heard her come in. When had I stopped hearing people move through my own house? What is this? Your will update, honey. Remember? We did it with that attorney Sarah knows. You said you wanted to make sure I was taken care of. She poured herself coffee, easy and calm. You were very clear about it. I never signed this. You did, sweetheart. 3 months ago. You really don't remember? Her voice dipped into concern territory. That's worrying, Hal. Maybe we should get you checked out. Stop. My voice came out harder than I meant. Stop doing that. Stop making me doubt myself. I know I didn't sign this. Okay. She set down her mug, slow, careful. If that's what you believe. If that's what you believe. Not you're right or let me show you. Just dismissal dressed up as agreement. I want to see the original, the one I signed with my actual attorney, Jim Fletcher. Jim retired, remember? That's why we went to Sarah's friend. Jim Fletcher hadn't retired. I'd seen him at the diner 2 weeks ago complaining about his golf swing. Get out. Patricia blinked. What? You and Sarah, out of my house, today. Her face changed, not to anger. That would have been honest. Instead, she looked sad, disappointed, like I was a child throwing a tantrum. Hal, honey, you're upset. I understand. These memory issues are frightening. I don't have memory issues. You're shouting. Gentle, quiet, making my anger look like instability. This is exactly what Dr. Chen warned about. The defensiveness, the paranoia. There is no Dr. Chen. Sarah appeared in the doorway, still in pajamas, coffee in hand, watching like this was entertainment. Everything okay? Your grandfather's having a hard morning. Patricia touched my arm. I jerked away. Why don't you go back to bed, sweetheart? We'll handle this. We'll handle this. Handle me like I was a problem to be managed. Both of you. Out. Now. Sarah's eyes went cold. The sweet concern vanished, replaced by something calculating. You can't kick us out, Grandpa. Mom's your wife. I'm family. And honestly, you're not capable of living alone anymore. Watch me. We have. Sarah stepped closer. We've watched you forget where you put things. Watched you tell the same stories over and over. Watched you get confused about what day it is, who you've talked to, what you've signed. She smiled, pitying, cruel. Half the town knows you're slipping. The other half will know soon enough. Sarah, that's enough. Patricia, playing good cop. He's just stressed. Aren't you, honey? Why don't you go rest? We'll talk about this later. I want you gone by tonight. That's not going to happen. Patricia's voice dropped the sweetness, pure ice underneath. Because if you try to force us out, I'll make one phone call. Dr. Chen will confirm your declining mental state. The attorney will confirm you signed that will. The bank will confirm you've been erratic with finances. And a judge will give me power of attorney over a man clearly unable to care for himself. There it was. The threat, naked and clear. You can't. I can, and I will. She picked up her coffee, took a sip. Or you can calm down, accept that we're here to help, and we'll all get through this together. Your choice. My choice. Between surrendering or being declared incompetent and losing everything anyway, Sarah smirked. Tick-tock, Grandpa. They left me standing there. Went back to Sarah's room. I heard the door close, heard them laugh. I looked at the will amendment, at my forged signature. At 50 years of work about to be stolen by people who'd been in my life 6 months, looked at Clara's photo on the mantel, her smile, frozen in 1974, when we thought we had forever. I'm sorry, I whispered. To her, to myself. I almost let them take it. But almost wasn't the same as done. I picked up my keys, walked to the garage, got in the truck, her truck, our truck, and drove. Didn't know where I was going, just drove, past the church, past the diner, out toward the county roads where corn grew tall and you could see for miles. Pulled over at the old cemetery where Clara rested, sat on the tailgate, looking at her headstone. They want the house, I told her. Want to erase you from it. Erase us. The wind moved through the verbena I'd planted, her favorite flower. I was lonely without you. So lonely I made a stupid choice. Married someone I barely knew because waking up alone hurt too much. A crow called from the fence line. But you know what hurts worse? Us being alone in a house full of people who hate you, who see you as a paycheck, who laugh about you through the walls. I sat there until the sun started dropping, until the evening chill set in, until I knew what I had to do. Drove home. Vernon was on his porch, like always, like he'd been waiting. I pulled into his driveway instead of mine, got out, walked up his steps. I need your help. Vernon set down his paper. About damn time. That attorney, the one you mentioned, I'll call him tonight. And I need to know everything. Everything you saw, everything you documented. All of it. Done. I looked at my house. Lights on inside. Sarah's silhouette passing the window. My house. Occupied by enemies. They threatened me today. Said they'd have me declared incompetent if I fight back. Let 'em try. Vernon stood. You got something they don't. What's that? 40 years of people who actually know you. Church ladies. Hardware store Pete. Pastor Frank. Me. He gripped my shoulder. You're not alone, Hal. You just forgot that for a while. I had forgotten that loneliness and isolation weren't the same thing, that I could be alone in my bed, but not alone in the world. What's the plan? Vernon smiled, grim, determined. We document everything, get your legal ducks in order, and then we show them what happens when you underestimate a postal worker who survived Korea and 30 years of government bureaucracy. For the first time in weeks, I smiled back. When do we start? Already started. He handed me a thicker folder. More photos, more dates. Now we finish it. I took the folder. Looked at my house one more time. They thought they'd won. Thought I'd rolled over. They were wrong. Vernon's attorney came the next morning. Rick Sawyer, 60-something, briefcase older than both of us, eyes that had seen every con twice. We met at the diner instead of my house. Neutral ground. Patricia didn't need to know yet. Show me what you've got, Rick said. I laid it out. The forged will, Vernon's documentation, the blocked phone numbers, the contractors I never called, the checkbook that disappeared and reappeared with my money gone. Rick studied everything with the same expression, blank, professional, made notes in cramped handwriting. This is elder abuse, he said finally, textbook, financial exploitation, isolation from family, gaslighting. He looked up. Question is, what do you want to do about it? Get them out of my house. Can't. She's your legal wife. Sarah's her guest. Eviction would take months, and they'd fight it claiming you're incompetent. My coffee went cold in my hands. But, Rick continued, we can protect what's left. Lock down your accounts. File a new will with me, properly witnessed, notarized, unbreakable. Get your son Marcus power of attorney instead of letting them forge one for Patricia. Document everything from here forward. That's it. Document while they rob me? No. We also build a case, gather evidence. When the time's right, we move. But you need more than photos and suspicion. You need proof of intent, recorded admissions, paper trail. Vernon leaned forward. The kid, the grandson, he's been recording them on his phone. I'd forgotten about Tyler, the way he always had his phone out. The questions he asked that seemed too specific. Can you get those recordings? Rick asked. I can try. Do. Meanwhile, I'll file injunctions preventing any property transfers without court approval. They try to sell your house, they'll hit a legal wall. He slid papers across the table. Sign here. This makes me your attorney of record. Everything goes through me now. I signed. My real signature, with Rick and Vernon as witnesses. It felt like reclaiming something. One more thing, Rick said. Stop reacting. Stop showing them you're onto them. Act confused when they want you confused. Act compliant. Let them think they're winning. You want me to play senile? I want you to be smart. They're watching you as much as you're watching them. Give them what they expect. Meanwhile, we work behind the scenes. It grated, playing weak when I wanted to fight. But I understood strategy. Spent a year in Korea learning that advancing isn't always moving forward. Sometimes it's holding ground while you call in artillery. How long? Couple weeks, month at most. We need ironclad evidence before we move. This goes to court. We need to win the first time. No second chances. I walked out of that diner with papers filed, accounts frozen, and a plan. Small victories. Not justice yet, but foundation for it. Back home, Sarah was on the couch with Craig. They looked up when I entered, faces calculating, waiting for the fight from yesterday to continue. I shuffled a little, let my shoulders sag. Morning. Morning, Grandpa. Sarah, all sweetness again. Testing. Where'd I put my glasses? Her eyes lit up. On your head, honey. They weren't. They were in my pocket. But I made a show of finding them, patting my forehead, looking confused. Oh, right, thank you. She exchanged a look with Craig. See? Senile. I went to the garage, sat in the truck, let them think I was hiding, defeated, confused. But I wasn't confused. I was waiting. That night, Vernon came by with more photos. Patterns emerging. Craig visiting when I was out. Sarah meeting with real estate agents. Patricia at the bank, twice in 1 week. They're moving faster, Vernon said, getting confident. Good. I looked at the evidence, at the timeline building. Confident people make mistakes. You okay with this? Playing possum? I thought about it. About pride versus strategy. About Korea, where the guys who charged in first usually died first, and the ones who waited, planned, survived. I'm okay with it. I looked at my house through the garage window. Lights on, them inside, thinking they'd won. Sometimes retreat is just repositioning, Vernon nodded. Your granddad would have been proud. He was postal service too, right? 35 years. Then you know, neither snow nor rain nor conniving stepdaughters. I almost laughed. First time in weeks. Something like that. They changed tactics on Thursday. Patricia found me in the garage, working on the truck's carburetor, something I'd done 100 times, muscle memory older than most marriages. Honey, I'm worried about you. I kept my hands steady on the wrench. Why's that? You've been so withdrawn lately, spending all your time out here. She touched the truck's fender, light, like it might bite. Maybe we should think about selling this. The maintenance alone. No. It's just a truck, Hal. It's Clara's truck. Her face did something complicated. Sympathy mixed with calculation. I know it has sentimental value, but Clara's gone. At some point, we have to let go and move forward. Like my grief was a team project. I'm keeping the truck. She sighed, patient, long-suffering. Okay, but promise me you'll think about it. For your own safety? What if something happened while you were under here alone? There it was, the new angle. Not incompetence, danger. Framing everything I did as a risk. Setting up the narrative for when they made their next move. I'll be careful. That's all I ask. She kissed my forehead. I love you, even when you're stubborn. She left. I waited until her footsteps faded, then pulled out my phone. New one. Bought cash at the electronics store 2 towns over. Prepaid. Untraceable. Called Marcus. Dad? His voice cracked. Jesus, I've been trying to reach you for weeks. I know. They blocked you. Listen quick. I need you to come over Saturday. Don't call the house. Don't tell Patricia. Just show up. What's going on? Can't explain on the phone. But I need you to trust me. Can you do that? Silence. Then, yeah, Dad, I trust you. Bring Tyler and your phone, the one that records video. Dad, Saturday, noon, trust me. I hung up before he could ask more questions. That night, church ladies showed up. Edna, Martha, Joyce, casseroles in hand, faces concerned. Patricia answered the door, all smiles. Ladies, what a surprise. Just checking on Hal, Edna said, steady. Haven't seen him much at coffee hour lately. He's been tired, resting more, doctor's orders. Which doctor? Joyce, blunt as a hammer. Patricia's smile tightened. Dr. Chen, at the clinic. Funny, Martha stepped forward. My daughter works at that clinic. Says they don't have a Dr. Chen. The air went electric. Must be thinking of a different clinic, Patricia recovered smooth. Hal sees several specialists now. Hard to keep track. Is it? Not a question. Edna's eyes were steel. We'd like to see him. Just for a minute. He's sleeping. I appeared in the hallway. I'm awake. The relief on their faces told me everything. They'd been worried, really worried. Hal! Edna moved past Patricia like she wasn't there. We brought you some of Martha's chicken casserole, your favorite. Thank you. I took the dish. Warm in my hands. Real kindness, not performance. Patricia hovered. He really should rest. 5 minutes won't hurt. Joyce, planting herself in my living room. The other two followed. A wall of elderly women, polite as Sunday morning, immovable as stone. We sat. They asked questions. How was I feeling? Was I eating enough? Did I need anything? All normal questions. But their eyes said different. They were checking, documenting, seeing if what Patricia claimed matched reality. I played it straight, tired but coherent. A little forgetful maybe, but sharp enough. Let them see the truth. After they left, Patricia was ice. That was rude. Barging in like that. They brought food. They brought judgment. She turned away. I'm trying to help you, Hal. But everyone keeps undermining me. Your son. These church busybodies. They're my friends. They're making this harder. She looked back, eyes hard. Maybe we need to make some changes. Limit visitors, for your health. There it was again. Isolation dressed as protection. But she didn't know about the new phone, about Marcus coming Saturday, about the church ladies now watching. She thought she was tightening the net. She was actually walking into one. Whatever you think is best, I said. Quiet, compliant. Her smile returned. That's my sweet man. We'll get through this together. Together. Her favorite lie. I nodded, played along, and waited for Saturday. Friday night, I couldn't sleep. Lay in bed listening to them through the vent. Sarah, Patricia, Craig, planning something. Voices too low to make out words, but the tone was clear. Excited. Confident. They thought tomorrow was just another Saturday. They were wrong. 2 a.m. I gave up on sleep. Went to the garage, sat in Clara's truck with Vernon's folder spread across the dashboard. Photos, timeline, evidence. 3 months of surveillance condensed into paper. Not enough yet. Rick said we needed proof of intent, recorded admissions. That's where Tyler came in. The kid was smart. 12 years old with a phone that never left his hand. He'd been recording them since the birthday party, not all the time, just when they said things that didn't add up. When Sarah coached Patricia, when Craig talked about the property, when they forgot he was in the room because adults always underestimate kids. Tomorrow, he'd bring those recordings. Tomorrow, we'd have what we needed. If I didn't lose my nerve first. The garage door creaked. Vernon, crossing the lawn in his bathrobe, coffee thermos in hand. Figured you'd be up. He poured coffee into 2 mugs. Sat on the tailgate beside me. We didn't talk for a while. Just drank coffee and listened to the night sounds. Crickets. Distant traffic. The house settling on its foundation. You remember what I told you? Vernon said finally. About Dottie? You signed papers you didn't understand. I signed them because I was tired. Because I wanted someone else to handle things. Because asking for help felt like admitting I couldn't do it alone. He looked at me. You know what I learned? What? Asking for help ain't weakness. It's what keeps you from ending up like me. 70 years old in a rental, driving past the house I built with my own hands, watching strangers live in it. You're helping me now. Trying to. He refilled our mugs. But tomorrow, when your son shows up and them recordings come out and everything hits the fan, you're gonna want to back down, gonna feel easier to just let it go. Keep the peace. I won't. You will. For about 5 seconds, you'll think maybe you're wrong, maybe you're overreacting, maybe it's not as bad as it seems. His voice hardened. That's when you remember, they laughed about you, through the walls, called you a fool, planned to take everything Clara left behind and sell it for scrap. He was right. I could already feel it, the doubt creeping in. The part of me that wanted to believe Patricia had good intentions buried under bad choices. That Sarah was just greedy, not evil, that this could all be some terrible misunderstanding. How'd you get past it? I asked. The doubt? Didn't. Lost my house because of it. He stood, dusted off his pants. But you're not me. You got something I didn't. What's that? People who showed up before it was too late. Marcus, Tyler, these church ladies, me. He gripped my shoulder. Don't waste what I didn't have. He left me there with the coffee and the evidence and the weight of tomorrow. Inside the house, a light came on Sarah's room. I watched her shadow move across the curtain, pacing, phone to her ear even at 2 in the morning, making her own plans. Tomorrow, those plans would crash into mine. I thought about Korea, about the morning before we took the hill, how scared I was, how certain I'd die. But you don't get to opt out when people are counting on you. You just put 1 foot forward and trust your training. Tomorrow, I'd put 1 foot forward. Marcus would show up. Tyler would have the recordings. The church ladies were primed. Vernon had documentation. Rick had the legal framework. All I had to do was not back down. 1 foot forward, I whispered to Clara's ghost. To Vernon's faith. To myself. The house light went off. Tomorrow started in 4 hours. I closed the folder, locked the truck, went back to bed. This time, I slept. Marcus's truck pulled in at noon sharp. Tyler jumped out first, ran to the porch like old times. Like the last 3 months hadn't happened, I hugged him, felt his phone in his pocket, hard against my ribs. You got them? All of it, Grandpa. Whispered, fierce. Everything. Marcus came up the steps slower, looking at me like he was checking for damage. Dad, what's going on? Before I could answer, the screen door opened. Patricia, smile locked in place. Marcus, Tyler, what a surprise. Not surprised, threatened. Hal, you didn't know I needed permission to see my own son. Her smile cracked. Just a little. Of course not. I just meant, Sarah, Marcus is here. Sarah appeared, Craig behind her, the whole crew assembled. Perfect. Well, Sarah looked at Tyler. If it isn't my favorite little cousin, still asking Grandpa to repeat those stories? They're not repeated. Tyler's voice, clear and strong. He tells them because I ask, because they're real. Because he remembers everything. Sure he does, kiddo. He does. Marcus stepped forward. And we're going to prove it. The air changed. Patricia's hand went to her throat. Sarah's eyes narrowed. Prove what? Craig, trying for casual, landing on nervous. I pulled out Vernon's folder, set it on the porch table. That I'm not senile, not confused, not incompetent. Opened it. That you've been running a con for 3 months, and I've been documenting every second of it. Patricia went white. Hal, what are you? Vernon. I called toward his porch. He stood, walked over. Tell them what you saw. Vernon pulled out his own folder. Thicker, more photos. Craig Dennison, visiting this address 14 times in 8 weeks. Always weekdays, always when Hal was out, always with a briefcase. He laid out photos, date stamped, clear. Sarah Morrison, meeting with 3 different real estate agents, pointing at this property. Getting appraisals Hal never authorized. That's, Sarah started. Patricia Morrison, Vernon continued, at First National Bank. 6 visits in 4 weeks, coming out with paperwork, transfers Hal didn't make, accounts Hal didn't open. You were spying? Patricia's shock turned to indignation. That's illegal. Photography from my own property ain't illegal. Vernon's voice could have cut steel. Documenting elder abuse, on the other hand, is called being a good neighbor. Elder abuse? Craig laughed. Hollow. That's ridiculous. We're family. You're a paralegal who helped forge a will. Rick Sawyer stepped onto the porch. When had he arrived? With a bar complaint filed for unauthorized practice of law. Should hear back on your suspension next week. Craig's face drained. This is insane. Sarah looked at her mother. Mom, tell them. Tyler, I said quietly. Show them what you have. My grandson pulled out his phone, hands shaking a little but voice steady. I recorded you lots of times when you thought I wasn't listening. He hit play. Sarah's voice, tinny but clear. Old fool doesn't suspect a thing. Patricia. Just keep him calm until the paperwork's done. Craig. Power of attorney should be ready by end of month. Sarah again. Sell the truck first. It's worth at least 15 grand. The porch went silent except for the recording. 3 months of conspiracy, laid bare by a 12-year-old with a smartphone. Tyler stopped it, looked at Sarah. You called my grandpa a fool, said he was senile, made everyone think he was losing his mind. His voice cracked. He's not. He's the smartest person I know, and you're a liar. Sarah opened her mouth. Nothing came out. Here's what happens now. Rick stepped forward, all business. Patricia, you will sign a complete release of any claim to this property, this estate, or any of Harold Morrison's assets. You will vacate this property within 24 hours. You will not contest, and if I don't, then we press charges, elder abuse, fraud, conspiracy, forgery. We have the evidence, we have the witnesses. Rick gestured at the growing crowd. Church ladies arriving, Pastor Frank pulling up, half the neighborhood watching from yards. And we have a district attorney who takes these cases very seriously. Patricia looked around. Surrounded. Trapped. The mask finally fell completely. What showed underneath was cold, calculating, mean. You think you've won? She looked at me. You'll die alone in this house, old man. No one will want you after this. You'll have your precious memories and your empty rooms and nothing else. I'll have my dignity, I said. Quiet. Final. That's more than you'll ever have. Marcus put his hand on my shoulder. Tyler gripped my other hand. Vernon stood solid beside me. The church ladies formed a wall. Pastor Frank watched with that steady, righteous expression. I wasn't alone. Patricia saw it, finally understood she'd miscalculated. Sarah, pack. She turned toward the door. You have 24 hours, Rick called after her. After that, sheriff's deputies will remove you. The door slammed. Inside, we could hear them, shouting, crying, crashing sounds, drawers being yanked open, belongings being thrown into bags. Marcus squeezed my shoulder. You okay? I looked at my son, my grandson, my neighbors who'd watched over me, my church family who'd refused to believe the lies. Yeah, I said. I'm okay. For the first time in 3 months, I meant it. They left on Sunday morning, 23 hours after the confrontation. I watched from the porch. Sarah's car loaded with boxes, Craig's sedan behind it. Patricia came out last, suitcase in each hand, sunglasses hiding her eyes. She stopped at the bottom of the steps, looked up at me. I did love you, she said. At first. Maybe you thought you did. I kept my voice level. But love doesn't steal, doesn't lie, doesn't try to erase someone's whole life. She flinched. opened her mouth like she might argue, then closed it. Got in Sarah's car. They drove away, gravel crunching under tires, dust rising in their wake. Vernon appeared beside me. How you feel? Empty, but good empty. Clean empty. Yeah, he understood. That's how it starts. Marcus and Tyler came out with trash bags. 3 days of clearing Sarah's room, finding more evidence we didn't even need now. Forged documents, stolen items, Patricia's jewelry box with my late wife's rings inside. Found something else. Marcus handed me a notebook. Sarah's handwriting, a timeline. 8 months of planning, starting before they even met me. Patricia's sister had told them about the lonely widower with property. They'd researched, strategized, targeted. I'd been a mark from day one. You okay, Dad? I closed the notebook. I'm okay. That afternoon, we changed the locks. Marcus did the work while Tyler handed him tools, asking questions, learning. 3 generations in my driveway, fixing what had been broken. Church ladies brought dinner. Real dinner, not surveillance casseroles. Edna hugged me, fierce and quick. Proud of you, she whispered. Clara would be too. Pastor Frank stopped by after evening service. Sat on the porch, didn't say much, just presence, solidarity. Monday morning, I woke up alone, the house quiet. But good quiet, my quiet, made coffee in my mug, sat on the porch watching sunrise. Vernon's light came on next door. He waved, I waved back. Marcus called. How you doing? Good, really good. Tyler wants to come over Friday, help with the truck. Tell him anytime. After we hung up, I walked through the house. Each room reclaimed. Clara's quilt back on the couch. Her photo facing forward on the mantel. The kitchen unchanged, light falling through windows she'd positioned just right. I'd almost lost this. Almost let loneliness make me so desperate I traded everything real for something hollow. But I hadn't. The doorbell rang. Pete from the hardware store carrying a paper bag. Heard what happened. Brought you them screws you wanted. No charge. Pete, you don't have to. Yeah, I do. I doubted you. Believed what they said. I'm sorry, Hal. After he left, more people came. Neighbors apologizing. The bank manager personally removing the restrictions on my account. The town putting itself right. By evening, I was exhausted. Good, exhausted. Sat on the porch with bourbon. Vernon joined me, brought his own glass. You gonna be okay? He asked. Being alone again? I thought about it. Really thought. I'm alone, I said. But I'm not lonely. There's a difference. Yeah. Vernon clinked his glass against mine. Took me 15 years to learn that. You got there faster. We drank in silence. Comfortable. Real. Tyler's bike was already leaning against the porch rail. He'd left it Friday, would be back for it next weekend. Marcus had Sunday dinner planned at his place, asked me to bring Clara's pot roast recipe. The house was empty, but my life wasn't. I'd survived Korea, survived losing Clara, survived Patricia and Sarah's betrayal, but the real survival was this: keeping respect for myself. Almost lost it. Almost traded dignity for companionship. Almost. Inside, I could hear the old house settling. Familiar creaks, home sounds. I finished my bourbon. Vernon headed back to his place. I turned on the porch light, warm glow against gathering dark. Stood there a moment, alone but not lonely, scarred but stronger. Then went inside. My house, my life, my choice. The screen door closed behind me with its familiar creak. Home. 3 months later, fall arrived. Leaves turning, air cooling, seasons doing what they do. I'm still alone in this house. Still wake up to an empty bed. Still make coffee for one. But loneliness and solitude aren't the same thing. Took me 71 years and one bad marriage to learn that. Tyler comes most weekends. We work on the truck, and I tell him stories. Real stories. Remembered clear. Marcus hosts Sunday dinners. The church ladies recruited me for the fall festival. Need someone who knows how to build booths that won't collapse, they said. Vernon and I sit on our porches most evenings. Don't talk much, don't need to. Patricia sent papers through her attorney. Divorce, uncontested. I signed without hesitation. Sarah took a plea deal. Probation, restitution, stay away from me forever. Fair enough. I see Clara's photo every morning. Tell her about my day sometimes. She's not a ghost. She's foundation. What we built still stands. A man can survive a lot of things. War, loss, betrayal, even loneliness if he faces it honest, but he can't survive losing respect for himself. I almost did. Almost. The porch light glows steady every evening now. Not a beacon for anyone coming, just proof I'm here, still standing, still whole. That's enough.